Okay, now it will appear, it will disappear, it will appear, it will disappear. So this is a very important technique, especially sometimes we need it. Let's go to Code Sandbox. It's a website where you can create applications like React, Vue, Angular, Svelte, others, as you see. And let's choose React. Yeah. So what we do, we will try to call an API first. Say this is posts. For the API, let's go to JSON placeholder. This is a very common API. People use it. Post this. Copy the URL. Here, const API URL. We create a variable of the URL. This is not necessary, but you can always do it, like I always do it. And let's create a function to fetch data from the API. Now, this function is not good because it's not asynchronous. The function that calls an API has to be asynchronous because API consists of multiple steps. Like first you fetch the data, then you convert it to JSON, then you use it. Now if you do it synchronously, like in a normal ordinary function, then you have no guarantee that you have the data when you convert it, and that just kills your application. So we make it async. Okay, this might look better. Const response equals to await fetch API URL. Now this is, I mean, you might know this by now, that we use fetch and fetch from this URL. That means bring me data from this URL. Then we convert this data to JSON. So the result of this data fetching, we convert it to JSON. Then what we do, because React is a stateful application, we can't just show the data immediately. We are not sure if when the application opens up, we are not sure the data is received and converted or not. So we create const post set posts or any variable that you want. We use state, which auto imported it. And let's say at first we have an array which is empty, and what we do, we say set posts. When the data is converted, set posts to the result. So make the posts this result, which is a convert data from the API. Now this data from this is an array of objects. So how do we show array of objects? We say posts.map post, for example. Don't show it on this page because we want every single post to have its own confined space. It's better for searching for other things. When you build application, you will know that, and it's just better for your application because React means modularity. Now let's create what did we do? Okay, let's create a folder, name it components, and inside components let's create a file, name it post.js. Here we say const post. This is just a component which returns for now an empty, and export default post. Okay, now in our app what does this returns? It returns this post. Yeah, auto imported. However, this post should have this information. We use map to say like go through the posts, and this, whatever you name it, this item or post represents a single element of each post. So we have this array of objects. We say this array.map, then we give it an argument which represents this and this and this, each as an individual item. So we say, for example, post equals to post. Okay, now all we gotta do is to use post destructured as a probe, and we have now id, title, body, which we can just let's make it issue. We can say post.title at first and see if we have. Let's refresh it. We don't have it for some reason. That's because we have not called this function. This function is working, but it's never been called. And we don't just call it like from nowhere. We want to be sure that the application is mounted, then we call it, and we use effect for that. I talked about this in a lecture, like in detail. If you want to go to my React course 2021. Okay, now we have this. Actually, let's make it h4. Okay, now we have this. Like today's lecture, I wanted to show you something like how to, for example, now we can show body, post.body and an HR. But what I want this body to be hidden, and there should be a button. When I click it, this body appears, and when I click it again, it will disappear. So how do we do that? Well, let's create a button first and create this. Okay, now to hide this, we can create show set show equals to use state and false, and we will tell it like only show this only if show is true. Now show is false, but we want to, when we click on this plus, we want to show like make show true. So how do we do that? Well, we say on click set show to whatever show was not. Now we don't tell it to make it true because it will always make it true, which is not what we want. We want to make it to the opposite of what was before. Too many renders, React limit number of renders in an infinite loop. I have no idea what that means. Let's just make this a show and post.body. Too many renders on click. Okay, this is a mistake. Set show to minus show. So now when we click here, it will show it. When we click it, it will disappear again. Now, but we want this button to change as well. Like we want it to be minus when show is not true. So how do we do that? Well, the easiest way, we create a button called button text, for example, equals if show is true, then let it be minus, else let it be plus. What? Okay. Now instead of plus, here we say button text. Hopefully cons is not defined. Come on, make it work again. Okay, so let's just refresh it, and we see that the button changes if we give it a style like font size 40 pixels or something like that. Okay, now it will appear, it will disappear, it will appear, it will disappear. So this is a very important technique, especially sometimes we need it, but this is how you do it like the React way. I hope this is now easy for you. What we did, we just called an API just like a normal API and rendered this component, and in this component we created a button. The button's text was set by the value of show, which is a boolean. If it's true, then show minus, else show plus, but also the show body was set according to the same value. Hopefully this will help you understand React better, because it's really just about things like this. And have a great day.